Hello, everybody. In this week's Parasha, we learn an unbelievable idea that's so important in how we raise our children. This week's message, by the way, is dedicated by anonymously in honor of all the rabbis at YDE who work so hard for our children. Hazak Baruch. So in Parashat Azinu, it says an amazing line over here. Tizal katal imrati kiseirim ale deshe birkirbivim ale eseb. There's two types of rain. There's a slow rain that goes on the young grass, and then there's some bigger droplets that goes on the more established grass that can handle more water. The Or HaChaim HaKadosh talks about this at length, and he says that there are different people at different levels, and you have to know how to deliver the Torah in the right way to each one of these people. There are people that could handle it heavy, rain down those kushiyot and those questions and those answers, or rain it down on them. They can handle it. And there are people that just can't. Everybody has different abilities. So it's very important to know that. In Pirkei Avot, it talks about the different ages that the children are supposed to learn things. Ben Hamish LaMikra, when they're 5, they start Chumash, and so on and so forth. You got to know that you could only give what they're ready to handle. Very important idea. In fact, if you look in the Midrash, on Mishleh, it says that after 120, when they go up to Shamayim, they're going to ask him, did you learn Torah? Yeah. Do you learn Chumash? Yeah. So then why did you learn Mishnah? If they learn Mishnah, say, yeah, we learn Mishnah. Then why don't you learn Gemara? There's always one level up. The question is, why don't they go 10 levels up? Why don't you learn the whole thing? Because that's not realistic. You have to know what a child could handle. And once you know what they could handle and what's right for them, then they'll be able to absorb it the right way. I see all the time that people, they put a very high expectations on children. There are some children that could sit for a very long time in shul, for example. But some can't. So if you want them to sit there for hours on end and you're expecting them to behave, and now when they don't behave, you get very upset at them, why is that fair? You did not set them up for success. You set them up for failure because they weren't able to handle that. So we see that you have to always make sure that when you're deciding what you're expecting from your child, when we decide what we're expecting from a student, it has to be in line with what's realistic, what they can handle. We all know what happens to grass when you overwater it. It dies. It's too much, and it suffocates the grass. The same thing with our children. If we give them too much when they're not ready, it'll suffocate them. We have to take this to heart, because as we now start on a year of growth, a year of learning in school is a big part of these kids' lives. And as we continue the learning, what do we expect them to do on the Shabbat table? What do we expect our daughters and sons to be doing when they're out there? Is it in line with what's realistic, what they can handle? That's the question we have to ask ourselves. I wish everybody a Shabbat Shalom and Tizku Shem Rabot.